So I know we're deep into 2023 now, but I thought I'd do one more video about my most used makeup products in 2022 because it took me a second to kind of like round this up and really figure it out. The first product, if you follow me on Instagram, you've heard me talk about it several times, and that is Tower 28 MakeWaves Mascara. This mascara actually came out towards the end of last year, so I debated putting this one in, but I already found myself repurchasing it, using it on a regular basis, just using it almost daily because it is just a perfect daily mascara. When I first got it, at first I didn't get it. I was like, oh, I'm expecting like lengthening and volumizing like it says, but the more I continued using it, the more I realized it's a perfect daily mascara. Like it makes your lashes look long, it gives them volume, but it looks very natural. It's not my go-to like date night mascara when I want some real drama, but this is my perfect go-to mascara. It never clumps on me, it never flakes. I never have any kind of flakiness under my eyes at the end of the day. It really holds up in the humidity of Miami, which was like a really big one for me. I never see it sitting underneath my eyes like kind of smudged or anything. It's not smudged on my eyelid. It's just a perfect mascara, and it's easy to clean off of your eyes at the end of the night. I obviously do a double cleanse. So I use an oil cleanser and I use a regular cleanser afterwards. This is so easy to remove. It's like I'm using a regular mascara, and it's about $20. So it is so good. I love this mascara. I like keep raving about it. I'm gonna continue using it. It is my daily mascara. I love it. Next up, I want to talk about my brows because I really have a whole process now to my brows. It's not just one product I'm using, it's 3 products. So I'm going to tell you my whole entire process. First, I go in with Baebrow. This is the Baebrow Hold Up Brow Styling Wax. I declared this my favorite brow wax last year. It still is. I love this stuff. I mean, this tin really lasts forever, but I am on my second one. I just, at this point, scoop up a good amount. I find that the more you use, the better it actually works on your brows. So I scoop up a little glob of it, put it on the back of my hand, and then I use a spoolie brush. I brush it through my brows without anything else on, and I let it dry down. I tend to smooth out the edges of my brows so that they don't look too like laminated, but I use this to really just kind of make my brows look a little bit fuller and thicker, I guess. And then I go on with the rest of my makeup. I love this stuff. It's like the only brow gel that I've ever used for myself that really keeps my brows in place. Once it has dried down, I go in with the Make Blade Line eyebrow pencil. I love this because it has this angled, wide but thin pencil to it, and also you don't have to sharpen it. I hate sharpening pencils, I really do. It's also refillable, which is a really nice touch to this. I go in and I just fill in all the areas that I need to with this pencil. And then on the other end, it does have a spoolie as well. I like to just kind of brush that in and smooth it out a little bit more. And then I'll go in with the rest of my makeup. I'll finish everything off. And my final touch is I will take a tinted brow gel to just give it that one last hold to it, and also give it just a touch more color so it really just makes my brows look like they're completely filled in and even. The tinted brow gel I've been using lately, and one that I've actually gone back to several times over the years, is by Charlotte Tilbury. It's a legendary tinted brow gel. It's really good. My favorite thing about it, honestly, is the really skinny brush. That to me is the key because, you know, I've used other brow gels that I like a lot too, but they always tend to get up into like my skin and stuff. And when I'm doing this, I'm usually not doing like a full-blown makeup look. So I don't want to have to go through with like concealer and more foundation to try to clean all of that look up. So I really like the Charlotte Tilbury one because it has this teeny tiny skinny brush. Next up isn't exactly makeup, but it is makeup because I used it all the time, basically when I was doing my glam, and that is the L'Oreal Magic Root Cover-Up Spray. I tend to use dark brown as the shade that I go for the most, mostly because I have a darker, almost black, but like dark brown hair color. This stuff is a lifesaver. I had worked actually, I think I was first introduced to this by L'Oreal because I did a sponsorship with them when they launched this whole collection, but then I didn't really stick with it. And then Nikki LaRose, my makeup artist, started to pull this out all the time because I started to get really gray. Like my roots come in so quickly now. I have to touch up my roots like every 5 to 6 weeks now because they're going. Like the grays are starting. They are really coming in. It's no longer like the occasional gray that I like can pluck or something. it's real roots. Like I have real gray roots at this point. So this has been a lifesaver for that last like week or two before my next hair color appointment, because you can just see it. Like it's almost as if like I've got lighter hair color or something from afar. It looks like I've got like I used to dye my hair and I actually had like a lighter hair color. So this really helps to just blend it out in the meantime until I have time to go to the salon, which by the way has really sucked. So if anyone has any idea how to like slow down the grays, I know everybody wants to know this answer so that I can save some money. That would be really great. But this is one of the ways I've been saving money and like kind of pushing out my appointments a little bit by like at least a week or two. It is with this. It's also really easy to use. You can see it actually has this little nozzle that's pointed, so you can get really close to the root area and spray it. What I will say is I've made the mistake of like just trying to like slightly spray it and then just goes plop, 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 and like puts little spots all over my forehead and stuff. You have to commit, like spray it back here first if you need to get the hang of it, and then move forward and just like commit to that spray. Don't worry, it doesn't like shoot out a ton. You're much better off giving like a real spray than just trying to like lightly spray it. If you do get it all over your forehead, don't worry, it wipes right off. It's really easy, but you know, just save yourself some time and commit to the spray. Next, as far as foundations go, I'm still really committed to my OG foundations, my Armani's Luminous Silk, my Dior Face and Body. Like those are still my go-to foundations when I'm gonna be on camera and everything. I love them. But for a daily basis, like on a daily basis, when I'm trying to look a little bit more natural and I'm trying to, you know, keep everything looking really easy and just effortless, I've been obsessed with the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. I'm on my second tube of it, which seems like not a lot, considering I said I used it most of 2022, at least from when it launched. I just like committed to using it. I love this stuff. It's that perfect in-between foundation for me. It gives me just enough dewiness, but it has enough grip and it doesn't move on my skin or anything like that. It's not a tinted moisturizer. It really is a foundation. I love the shade. I think that's the other thing. The shade that I use for it is my perfect match. So I love it even more so. You know, like I think when you find a foundation that is your perfect shade for your skin tone, it's hard to go anywhere else because you're like, oh my gosh, this is perfection. It blends perfectly with my skin tone. I love the little bit of like luminous finish that it gives me, but it doesn't look overly glowy, which I don't need because I use so many skincare products. I use a dewy finish, you know, sunscreen and everything. So I don't really necessarily need my foundation to be overly dewy because I'm already contributing to it with all the other products I'm using. So this one is like right in the middle for me. I have seen some people say that they hate it and it, you know, like accentuates their texture and stuff. For me, it makes my skin look flawless. So I think it's one of those things where you have to just give it a try yourself and see if it works for you and if you like it. But to me, this was my favorite foundation of 2022 besides my OGs, and I love it. I really do. I think it's one of the best. All right, next, cream blushes, because you know I love a cream blush. I actually have two of them. There were probably so many more cream blushes that I used last year, but these kind of like rose to the top. First is by Persona. This is the blush multi-stick in the shade Teddy. I love it. It is so easy to use. It's kind of like a warm, kind of orangey neutral tone. They call it an apricot neutral. It's perfect. It is so pretty to use. I feel like a lot of skin tones can utilize this one. It blends beautifully. It looks natural. I don't know, I love this. I put it all over my face. I put it like on my forehead, I put it on my cheeks, I put it on my nose, I put it on my eyes. I can even put it on my lips. It's probably the only place where I don't use it that much is on my lips, but you can put this all over and it is so pretty and easy to use. Like this is a go-to daily blush stick for me. I love this shade. Next is by Westman Atelier. This is the shade Petal, and I'll tell you, this is actually the most used shade that you guys have personally seen. Like you guys have actually seen this on me a lot because this is what Nikki has used on me the most this past year on camera. I'm actually wearing a combination of both of these right now on my cheeks, but I know that Nikki loves this shade. She uses it on me all the time. And it also is such a creamy color. It's a little bit more of like a satin finish. It's a really beautiful pink, almost mauve tone to it. It is so gorgeous. It is a little bit pricey, but it's such a pretty shade. And I feel like a lot of people could also utilize this shade. As far as my favorite powder blush, it's by far the Laura Mercier Color Infusion blush in the shade Fresco. Fresco is so pretty. It is so neutral. It is such a pretty shade. Nikki LaRose actually put it on me the first time and I was like, wait a second, what is this? Like, why have I never used this? It was in my own makeup collection because I received it in PR first. It is so pretty. I carry it with me everywhere. I travel with it. I use it almost on a regular basis. Even when I'm using a cream blush, I'll sometimes top my makeup look with that blush because it is just so pretty and it just accentuates whatever I'm using underneath it. I love this color. It is such a pretty shade. As far as my favorite cream bronzer last year, it was a little bit of a tie. The one that I used the most, like by far, was the Anastasia Beverly Hills cream bronzer. The shade that I purchased was Amber and I love it. I know it pulls a little orangey on some people, but for me, I just loved it. I found this one to be the easiest to use, the most natural looking, just the easiest to blend. I love that bronzer. I use it all the time. It's also always in my makeup bag when I travel, especially because I just know it's one of my go-tos. When I use bronzer, I put it all over my face. I am a bronzaholic. I've said this for years. I love it. That said, if I really dig deep and I think about it hard, the bronzer that I really liked the most, like the one that I didn't use out of convenience, like I don't know why, like for some reason my mind always reached for the Anastasia one, but I think the one I tend to like the most when I put it on is by Makeup by Mario. It is the Soft Sculpt Shaping Stick. That one I used a lot last year, but I think it was one of those kinds of makeup products where I would use it and then I would kind of like place it somewhere that I don't remember. It wasn't like accessible for some reason. I don't know why, but that is what happened. And then I would always go back to the Anastasia one. I also think that the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancer by Makeup by Mario, I think I got this way later though in the year. I think that this is also a beautiful cream bronzer. I also got this one. And by the way, I'm not on the Makeup by Mario PR list at all. A lot of people are like, you talk about Makeup by Mario a lot. I love these products so much that I actually buy them, which says a lot. You guys know that says a lot. No, I actually buy a lot of my makeup products, but I buy a lot of Makeup by Mario products. And I think that his cream bronzers last year were so good. So I think I would have used them more. So in the name of the actual video, since this is supposed to be my most used makeup products of 2022, I'm gonna go with the Anastasia because I did use that the most by far and I still do. But I think I liked the Makeup by Mario cream bronzers so much more. Another winner from Makeup by Mario was this eyeshadow palette. This is the Master Mattes eyeshadow palette. You guys heard me say this last year when I got it. These are like the perfect nudes. Like if I'm traveling and everything, it's so easy to just throw this in my bag. No, there's no fun colors in here at all, but honestly, when I'm traveling, I'm usually doing like work meetings and stuff. So this makes so much more sense to me. These are all such perfect shades to use on your eyes. I can even use the darker shades for my eyeliner, and I can even use some of these shades for my brows if I really need to. I tend to not do that. I know Nikki has done that on my brows a few times, but I just really love these colors. I think that if you're looking for the perfect, like nude/browns kind of eyeshadow palette, it's this one. It's so pretty. Next, when it comes to face powder, I actually had a few favorites, but I find myself always going back to the OG Laura Mercier. So I don't really want to like give it that much of a shout out because I just use it all the time. You guys hear me talk about it. I use it all the time. I also really love the Givenchy Prism Libre. Like it has the pink and the purple shade. I can't even think of what that one's called because I know they have a couple of shades. That one by far was my favorite. I find myself really liking that a lot. And then NARS has their crystal powder that's in a compact. I found myself using those powders a lot last year, but as far as the most used, it's always the OG Laura Mercier. But the thing that changed the most for me and that I used the most last year was this. A powder puff. Last year was the reemergence of the triangle powder puff. These are nothing new, but they had kind of gone away. And then last year, Nikki just like brought this back into my life. This one's from Krylon. I bought so many of these because I love them. I just love this one. I think it's like a perfect size. It's super soft, whatever. But now they're so easy to find like generic powder poofs like this, these triangle ones on Amazon and at beauty stores and everywhere. So I wouldn't even tell you have to buy a specific brand. It's just the triangle powder poof has been killer for me. As far as lipsticks go, if there's any place where I'm like not that loyal, it's lipsticks because I want to try all the new lipstick colors and all the new shades and stuff. I had a ton of favorites last year, but what I think Nikki used on me the most and what I tend to like love the most was this. Look how tiny this is. It's like just barely holding on, but this is by Makeup Forever. This is their lip liner in the shade Wherever Walnut. So basically, Nikki keeps this in her makeup kit because it's the most perfect lip liner shade. It's a perfect kind of pinky nude mauve lip liner shade to use. It works on a lot of skin tones. It's so pretty. It is such a pretty color to use. I mean, you can find other lip liners in similar shades, but this one by far is the best one. It's just sold out all the time, but it's really that kind of like a neutral pink lip liner that we put on underneath every single lipstick, really. A lot of my lipsticks, not all of them. And with this lip liner, she used the shade Power Mauve from Clé de Peau. What is this called? The Clé de Peau lipstick. They don't have a fancy name for this one, but the shade is number 12 Power Mauve. She used this on me a lot. I mean, look at that. She uses it a lot. She loves these lipsticks. This combination was one of the combinations that she used the most on me last year. The other shade from Clé de Peau that she used on me the most that I actually also really loved, that I was like, what's that shade? Was this one. It's Camellia. And it's a really pretty soft red tone. I'm gonna show you right here, look. Ooh, it's so pretty. Let me show you Power Mauve too. So pretty, right next to that lip liner. Those are such pretty girl shades. Like, if you like the pretty girl look, those are the lipstick shades and the lip liner to go for. So those are my most used makeup products, mostly in 2022. Again, there are some makeup products that are starting to make their way into my makeup bag right now, but I'll leave that for a whole other video because I feel like I need to still sit with them for a little bit and really commit. Like, I feel like after a year, if you've really still been using a makeup product, you love that makeup product. So, you know, I'm gonna give it a little bit more time with some of the newer products coming out, and we'll get a little updated video then. If you guys have any questions, or if you wanna share any of your most used makeup products of 2022, or even like right now, makeup products you're obsessed with, share in the comments below. You can find me on Instagram and on TikTok. I'm at Susan Yara. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.